Welcome to the First Right Podcast. I'm Doug Truax, founder and president of Restoration PAC. Today as our guest, we've got Glenn Hodas of Hodas & Associates, an outstanding political pollster, and our pollster here at Restoration PAC. Over the last 4 months, he's been doing polling in the key swing states of Pennsylvania, Michigan, and Wisconsin. So we all know that in 2016, if it wasn't for those three states, President Trump would not be our president right now. So we're going to keep a real close eye on those and continue the polling going forward to the election. You can check it all out for free at our website, restorationofamerica.com. So Glenn, welcome. Glad to have you on.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Good to see you again.
Good to see you too. So let's jump right in. What are you seeing? Let's begin with Michigan, and we'll go from there. What are you seeing?
Michigan has been a tough state for President Trump. As you can see here, he was running behind in March, and that trend has continued all the way through April and May. Joe Biden has a 9% lead over President Trump in the state of Michigan. That's fueled by pretty good sizable pluralities for Joe Biden in the urban areas and in the suburban areas of Michigan. President Trump is doing well in rural parts of Michigan, but it is not enough at this point to overcome Joe Biden's massive leads in the urban areas. And that's why the president's running 9% behind.
Not real encouraging, but let's talk about Pennsylvania.
Pennsylvania is a different story completely. President Trump is 5% ahead in Pennsylvania. And you can see we've actually had a transition here. President Trump was starting out in March at 47%, and he's now at 50.2% in the state of Pennsylvania. This is a rather traditional breakdown, though, for Pennsylvania. The urban areas, Philadelphia, are going strongly for Joe Biden. The rural areas are going strongly for President Trump, and they're fighting it out in the suburbs, where there's actually a dead heat tie between Joe Biden and President Trump. But in the makeup of the state of Pennsylvania, that results in a 5% lead for President Trump.
How about it? Good stuff. How about Wisconsin?
Wisconsin, again, is a tough state for President Trump. We started out in March with the president ahead, Joe Biden. But as you can see, as we moved into April and certainly into May, Joe Biden's lead has increased to 9%. Again, similar to Michigan, it's fueled by some rather sizable pluralities Joe Biden has built up in the Milwaukee area, the suburbs of Milwaukee, and even Madison. The president is winning the rural areas for sure of Wisconsin. However, those leads that he has in the rural areas of Wisconsin are not enough to compensate for Joe Biden's rather sizable pluralities in the Milwaukee area.
Yeah, he's got some ground to cover. So we're about to go back out in the field for the next round of polling, and so we've got obviously some unrest in the country. What are you thinking you're going to see on that? Not to hold you to anything, but what do you think you're going to see?
It is definitely a very interesting time to be out in the field doing polling. I think what we're going to see is some of these groups that have slipped away from President Trump to Joe Biden are going to go back. They're going to move back towards the president. However, on the other hand, I think you're going to see probably more trouble with independent voters for President Trump. So it'll be interesting to see in these three states how that formula works out and what is the net plus or minus for these candidates.
Yeah, so we'll see. It's definitely a unique time in our country. So any other thoughts or observations that you care to share at this point? One of the things that we've discussed previously is the folks that aren't going to tell any pollster, including you, no matter how good you are, that they're going to vote for Trump. So that's always a piece out there that we think might make an impact. There's that. Anything else that you're thinking is out there that you'd like to cover?
That's really the wild card right now. That is really the wild card right now. The other thing is, how long will the impact of these protests and riots and civil disturbances, how long will that last in the polling data? Is that going to last for months or just weeks? Well, obviously, we're a long ways out from the election. A lot of things can happen. People are talking about a second possible wave of coronavirus. The polling environment is very fluid right now. So it is way too early to make definitive predictions about what's going to happen, especially in these three battleground states.
Yeah, for sure. Well, thanks again for your work. Super crucial. And we're happy that you're working for us here at Restoration PAC. And I'm sure we'll have you back to talk about the next set of polling coming out in June. Thanks for being on, Glenn.
Thank you.
So again, you can check out all of our polling data for free at restorationofamerica.com. Until next time, thanks for being with us.
Every morning in your inbox, always free. Subscribe now at restorationofamerica.com/firstright or text First Right to 1-312-820-9167.